Hey all, welcome to Whiteboard Machine Learning. This is Hemant. In this tutorial, we will discuss a very important package in data science or machine learning project called numpy. So guys, let's begin by creating a notebook. So I'll just try to name this notebook as numpy. So what is all about numpy? So numpy is all about numerical Python. So why do we need this numpy? NumPy, it is used to perform some linear algebra operations because as we know, machine learning is basically a mathematical algorithms. We do a lot of mathematical calculations when we build any data science or machine learning projects. We have many linear algebra operations such as matrix, arrays, etc. And we try to look into a couple of important math functions in this tutorial. I will try to break this tutorial into small tutorial, let's say 5 minutes tutorial, so that we have a continuations with all the tutorials we discuss, nothing but a series. I'm trying to create a series of numpy package here. Okay, coming to the point, let's try to import the numpy package. We always use a simple alias name called np. You can actually use any alias name here. You can actually give something called as P, A, just like this, but as per the official documentation, it is always good practice to give NP as a alias name for this particular package. So let me just call this as alias name for numpy package. So you'll have to shift enter it so that you will try to just import this particular package. Remember guys, this numpy exercise what I'm discussing is basically coming from this particular website numpy.org. You also get a lot of references here, reference guide PDF. So if you just go here, you will see a lot of examples. Okay, you can download this and refer this. uh, Keep it for a reference so that you see a lot of examples over here. All right, so that's the numpy official documentation. All right, you see a lot of examples over here. Okay, now when I say numpy, it is very important to discuss the concept of array. Point is that there are different ways to create array. Keep this in mind. At a very fundamental level, we have something called as Python list. Remember? So audience should know the concept of the list here. We know the list is nothing but sequence of elements, right? Sequence of elements. How do we create a list? Let's say that I'm going to create an object called L1, which is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you could see here, I'm creating series of numbers here. So from 1 to 6, right? This is basically a list. How do you know that this object you're creating is a list? Let me just go ahead and try to use a print statement here. And there is a function called type function. To this function, I'll try to pass L1, so which is the object I've created here. When I simply just execute this, you'll see that it belongs to a class called list here. So keeping it very simple, list is nothing but sequence of elements we have. So array or list, it is all like a synonyms, right? More specifically, reason for going from list to numpy array is because the performance. So time of execution of numpy array, numpy array is always faster than list. That is a point where you'll have to always remember when you are using the list or numpy arrays in your projects. So there are different ways to create the numpy array. Our focus is on creating the numpy array here. Let me go ahead and create the numpy arrays, okay, using different approaches. Let's say that the first approach that I'm using is basically using this list to create array. Let's say that list to create to create numpy array. Okay, how do you create it? Okay, I have imported the package called np here. Let me go ahead and create a object called a1, which is equal to np dot. I have a function called array function. Okay, let's call that particular array function. Remember the point? I'm basically using dot to access the built-in functions. If you ask me what is this array, array is a function which is a built-in function used to create this numpy arrays. Now to this array function, I'm going to pass L1, which is object what I've created. Let me pass the same object, and this will create a numpy array. Now we have created an object called A1, which is a numpy array. To check the type of this array, I'm going to use or print this class of object A1. Print of type of A1. When I say this, what is the class you get? You get like class numpy.ndArray. Remember, this belongs to a class called numpy array, n-dimensional array. Okay, so that's basically how you try to create an array using a list over here. That is the first approach I'm showing here. Not only list, using tuples, you can also create the numpy array. The next thing what I'm going to use is like the second approach. That's going to be the tuple. Okay, let's say that numpy array using tuple. All right, that's how I try to create it. Let me just write it over here. I'm going to use this tuple and then say something like t1 is equal to, how do you create a tuple? You'll have to put a small bracket, then say 1 2 3 4 5 6 sequence of elements. You can actually include as many elements as you want. And now I'll just try to use the function array again. Let me just try to say np.array and then pass that t1 object to this function array. So this will actually create an array using tuples. Okay, let's try to print it out. So print type of a1, and I'm also trying to print t1 also here. Let me also quickly print t1. If you see the difference here, when I check type of a1, you always get numpy.ndArray, and when I check t1, you always get tuple here. You can also do the same thing for the above cell, nothing but above object. Let me quickly use the same print function, type of L1. So if you see here, you get numpy.ndArray, and second one is like the list over here. So now we have two ways of creating the array. One is like using the list, and other one is like using the tuples. All right. So I think that's it for today. That's it for this tutorial. So I will also discuss the other ways of creating the numpy array. All right. So if you have liked this video, please subscribe to my channel, guys. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Bye bye.